Self-esteem. Self-esteem, what is it? How do you get it? How do you know if you have it? How do you keep it? Welcome to another edition of Love Advice. Susan Winter here with my wonderful, fabulous YouTube family. We have Gwyneth and Bea with us, the moderators. Do you know, ladies, I just looked at the date of our first live show together, 2020. April 2020. And very shortly after that, you were with me. So every Thursday, these lovely ladies have come to join me and to keep this a safe, wonderful foundation for all of you in which you can participate, get information. So Bea and Gwen, mwah. Now let's talk about self-esteem because I have a lot of things to tell you that I'm sure you have not thought of, you didn't know. And I'm so excited because along with the other work that I do on your dating and relationships, at the center of everything is you, how you feel about yourself day in and day out. And I want to begin by reading something. Now, I'm not a follower of group gurus. I really don't. I'm kind of, if you know me, I'm a non-group person, but I want to read something to you that I was listening to a podcast the other day. Chris Williamson, who I think is absolutely wonderful, super intelligent, self-effacing British humor, wonderful guy, brings awesome conversations to the table, modern wisdom. And he had Anthony Robbins on. And I'm like, whatever. I'm washing dishes. I'm doing, Nika's looking at me, waiting for her little green bean treat. She loves green beans. And I hear this and I'm blown away. I'm going to read it to you, but before I do so, Shilly, thank you. Shilly, love the hair. Thank you. Yes, I'm doing my Miss America hairdo for all of you. Bea and Gwyneth, Gladys, good to have you here. Richard, hi, Susan and Susanites. I'm looking forward to today's live show. Mohammed, hey, Syria, congratulations. Libertad, congratulations. Oh my God, how brilliant to hear from you. Alex, so nice to see you here again. Thank you. We do our little DMs on Instagram. Gladys, interesting and impactful. Malithi, we've got Nicoletta. How are you doing? Mary Jane, Stacy Brown, Ilian, I'm sorry, Posh de la Cruz. Hello from the Philippines. Let's see. Is it, how do I say, salamat po? I think that's, oh, let's see, Nicoletta, Dana, how are you doing? And okay, Mel, Jessa, how are you doing? Wouter, hello. Let me talk about self-esteem. I was listening to Anthony Robbins speak, and I am going to read this to you because it is so on target. Again, on modern wisdom. This was Chris Williamson's latest episode. I'll put notes in the description here. Anthony says, it's important to realize that self-esteem is earned. It's only earned by you with yourself. You're not going to get self-esteem because everybody praises you your whole life, tells you that you're brilliant, a genius, beautiful, handsome. You're not going to believe it. Self-esteem comes from doing incredibly difficult things where you know you have pushed yourself. It's not virtue signaling. It's not telling people about it. It's what you know inside of yourself. And the more you do the things that are incredibly difficult, especially things that are meaningful, meaning they're not just about yourself, the higher self-esteem will be. I think the most important thing for self-esteem is to find something you really care about more than yourself. This is brilliant. What he's saying, I can promise you, if any of you look at me and think I have confidence, that was how it happened. Not because I did this thing or I did that thing. It was the challenges that I went through that I saw that against all odds I overcame. And the reason I'm telling you this is in the midst of all the stuff you're going through, mentally, emotionally, drama in dating, financial, whatever you're going through, you're probably thinking, oh my God, I wish this would stop. I can't believe it, blah, 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 blah. And you're thinking it's all bad and negative. And here you don't even know that that stuff is the stuff that is going to make you trust yourself, believe in yourself, know who you are, and you speak from an entirely different platform when you share your story. You all know this. There are people you hear and they talk the talk, and the words are beautiful, but you don't feel it in here because they know the words, they know it here, but they didn't live it. There's an ownership when you have lived it. So, for those of you who want to find your life purpose, you don't have to take a weekend up in the mountains. I'm going to tell you right here, look at your challenges. You want to know what you're here for? Look at what life has shown you. Is there something you are trying to overcome? Is there an injustice? Is there a power that you think is not in right order? Is there something you need to do? What are you fighting for? What do you believe in? And finding your purpose could be anything. It could be the fact that you want to help animals in a shelter. It could be the fact that you take some food to a neighbor who's elderly and sit for a 20-minute conversation because you're the only person they're going to talk to. You know, whatever your purpose is, when you're in your purpose, you have your self-esteem because you have purpose. And what I want to describe is from somebody who has seen both sides of the spectrum. I have seen what it's like to be at the top of the apex and at the bottom. I've seen what it's like to be born into a situation where everybody around me had such incredible opportunity, wealth, and comfort. Do you know how discontent those kids were? Don't envy Nepo babies. Ooh, they got a task you cannot imagine. Don't envy those with famous parents. They've got a double hurdle to find themselves and to be an individual. Think of all the challenges that you've gone through and all the losses you've had, and you've sustained it. That's where self confidence comes from. It's not in buying the clothes. It's not in the external recognition that somebody sees us with a handbag or sees that we've posted from Positano or something. That's temporary. It comes and goes like the wind. You know, it's kind of like that new car smell, it just goes away. So these are not sustainable. Beauty, not sustainable. You know, whatever advancement we have today, we're going to look for something else tomorrow. But it is the cumulative effect of having applied ourselves and done something that nobody gave us. Nobody gave us. You do realize the most miserable people in the world are the idle rich. Do you know that? I do. I know it firsthand. The more idle you are with no focus and purpose, you can involve yourself in a hedonistic lifestyle all you want and keep yourself busy and distracted with one party to the next and jetting here and jetting. There's a hole that is so big it cannot be filled. Until you take that money and find something you want to do with it, do with your life. I don't care if you want to spend all day painting in a room and you buy tons of equipment and put up your own galleries, even if it's a vanity project that you're doing something you believe in. People who don't have challenges, come on. Have you ever met one of those people? They're the one you can't wait to get away from in the middle of a party. They're so bloody boring. Boring. They got nothing to say, nothing to do. Anything they say is just kind of, it's repeated nonsense from the social cluster of data information. It's not interesting. Okay? So I want you all to understand that the very things that you are fighting against right now are probably indeed the very things that are creating your character, your depth, your the fact that you're interesting to talk to, what you're overcoming, what you're challenging right now that you so are railing against is fostering within you self-confidence. I know you don't feel it right now. If you're in the midst of it and they're grinding you down, the last thing you can imagine is, oh, I'm going to get self-confidence from this. Isn't this fabulous? But you will. And that is the most surprising piece out of all of it. Don't you wish if we were going through it, somebody would tell us, Hey, listen, this is not that bad. You don't know what the outcome is going to be, So I promise you, self-esteem comes from this. It is the cumulative effect of us appreciating what we've done and accomplished within ourselves, no matter how difficult the challenge is. Okay. So I'm going to get to some of the Jessica says, I'm holding a training in 30 minutes, but I had to tune into your live and get every second beforehand. Thank you. Before I start talking about girls and girls that you want to meet and things like this, I do want to continue along this tract. And so user 1900, maybe I can come back to this. Uh, we are programmed every day to look for social acknowledgement of our worth, these externals. And you might have noticed if you've been watching some of my videos, I'm going in this direction because it's ever present. And I want all of us to remember where the truth lies and where our truth lies. That as you're seeing all the posturing of the influencers and the travel influencers and the look how rich I am in my private jet and the unbelievable pressure to have to show and tell. You know, there'd be no show and tell if there weren't an audience, right? So we are being set up to acquire these things so that other people will also feel jealous and competitive. And it's just a vicious cycle. Do what you love, commit yourself to bettering yourself. I know everybody here is working on themselves. But please understand that, and I can't stress this enough, the challenges that you are overcoming today are the foundation that is unshakable. Because once you know that you've made it through the fire and you are safely on the other side, that's history. That's proof. It's not gee, I hope I can make it. Maybe that'll work out. You proved it to yourself and you've gotten an accomplishment that you didn't buy. Nobody gave it to you. It's not sitting in your closet. It's not sitting in your garage. It's not a little plaque. It's you. So I hope you all understand that. If you have any questions about that, I urge you, take a look at Allowing Magnificence. It's in the description below. You can either buy the book on Amazon or you can download the audio. If you do Audible, it's probably nominal or maybe it's included for free. But that's where I talk about all my challenges. And I know so many of you want to know about the private life of Susan Winter. If you wanted to know, it's probably in there how I explain how it surprisingly happened to me. The fire we're going through is not for nothing. Understand that it's carving out your soul's purpose and your inner strength. Okay. Now, if you have questions about this, put it in super chat. If you want to talk to me about something else, now it is all about you. I'm going to go back to user 1900 and answer your questions on dating and relationships. What do you think of a girl who I asked to meet? It would have been the third date, and she replied that now is too busy with her studies and maybe we'll meet again in the future. Okay. I understand being really distracted. You're going on, you've only had 2 dates. You're going for the third. Good for you to stay persistent. She does not prioritize you highly enough to fit you into her studying. This could be one, pushing you into a simmer phase and putting you on the back burner, or two, she really does like you. But the fact that she said, maybe in the future gives me pause. Language is very important. If somebody is truly busy and they want to see you, they will say, do you mind if we get together after? And they give you a date. So I don't think she's sufficiently interested. I would move on to somebody else. She might be interested in picking it up again. Again, 2 dates, she doesn't know you that well. Okay, so don't take it personally. It's very, very important. And all of you who are dating, those of you who are asking a person out, if that's your role that you've taken on in this association, If somebody says to you, I don't know, maybe in the future, I'll get back to you. I don't know. It's a really busy time. Consider that code for I'm not that interested and just leave. You may think they're fabulous, gorgeous, handsome, sexy. They're not, either they're not prepared mentally to be involved with somebody, or they're not sufficiently attracted, or they're seeing somebody else. Not worth it. Just keep moving. Okay. Wouter. Hello, Wouter. We've had email communication. I know that. In dating, the pendulum certainly swings both ways. Temporary confidence from a great date or attention on the dating apps to barely any attention at other times. Well, we we know we can't count on the dating apps to get any kind of self-esteem. I love the fact that you get a little puffed up when you're getting a lot of attention, but it goes that way. You're a guy, so there are hundreds of guys hitting on one woman if she's sufficiently attractive. You have to find a way to cut through. So I would say go back and consider the following things where you had success. There might be absolutely no connection whatsoever, but it's a fun little task. Wouter, go back in and isolate which respondents paid attention to you. Look for a commonality. Were they exceedingly bright? Did they write more in their profile? Were they more comfortable in their communication? Did they seem more open to have a relationship? Then look at the ones that didn't respond when there's nothing happening. W- Was there any kind of chatter? Did it just seem, because it is cyclical when people come on and off. But if you're looking at people that have come into the gate and been interested, as opposed to those who come in, sniff, and leave, that's kind of an interesting pattern to observe. Is there anything about their profiles that could give you a heads up to begin with? This one's probably just window shopping. So many people online are window shopping. They do it like for amusement. Just like I'm not really ready to buy these shoes, but let me just take a look at what the new styles are. Really, it's about that serious. 250. Temp Ori. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. My ex found a way to contact me even if he's blocked. Wants to catch up, so I unblocked him. We talk, but there's no mention of it, and we stopped talking. Thing is, he has a new one. Is my ex confused? Yes, I would suppose your ex is doing what I call Susan term comparison shopping. It happens when we are about to make a decision, and I don't mean to upset you, but your partner may be vacillating with this new person. Maybe they are moving into a committed relationship from dating. Maybe they are moving into something more serious. Maybe he's got somebody on the hook and holding on to that. He or she is holding on to that, but not sure, not 100% in, so just wanna kinda catch up with you and put you on the back burner as a just in case. Either way, for you, there is nothing really happening here. It's comparison shopping. He's got a bird in the hand, uh, but wonders if the old bird in the bush might be worth going back to. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, sniffing. Sniffing. Glad that you recognized it, and I'm glad that you wrote about it. Um, Midlife Goddess, you have such wonderful commentary on YouTube. Thank you so much, my dear. Let's see, so glad to catch this live. My hero, the book is amazing. Have you read Allowing Magnificence? That's fabulous. Did you leave a review? Listen, everybody, I'm right after I get done with this show, I'm interviewing Jonathan Aslay. I'm starting to do my own interviews on things, and we're going to be talking about sexual communication. This is not something that I never use the term sex in any of the work that I do. Rarely, rarely. One, you get booted, YouTube tries to pull it. But another thing is like, we're going to have a very different opinion about what to say and when. I know that. So I'm excited to tell you that I'm going to have more material for all of you, and also the podcast. I'm going to be beefing up the podcast with question and answer that I have not had a chance to get to here. So if you tune on to the Susan Winter Show, subscribe, make a comment, please. I mean, some of the comments are from like 2, 3 years ago. So I'd love to have you following on all my different channels. And thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Okay, watching from Rochester, New York. I think you're all cold up there, right? Um, we have a bunch of choices and can't see the obvious choice. They are all no's. When we have a bunch of choices and can't see the obvious choice, they're all no's. That's funny. Alex, how are you doing? How are you doing? Let's see, Alex, what do we say? Okay. Thank you for taking our question, Susan. I have a question. What's the best way to deal with self-esteem and lack of financial standing? Okay, so you're a guy and you've tied it. This is very typical for men. Men's self-esteem, their worth in society, quite sadly, but in times past, it was their wealth determined their social standing and therefore their viability as being a top value partner. I know that my worth is not equal to how deep my pockets are. So I'm trying to figure, I know your story, Alex. So I'm trying to figure out, um, are these people that you're talking to now, is this a you thing or are you getting feedback from others that they're not, that they want more out of life? If normally when I get questions like this from a man, it is because he would like to have a committed relationship and feels unready, not because he's unready in here or in here. He's unready because he feels he doesn't have the financial wherewithal to offer a life involvement to another person. But I must remind you that nowadays we have dual income. I mean, some people are choosing to be, trad wives and husbands that don't mind doing that, or boyfriends that don't mind paying for their girlfriends. It's very interesting to go back to the 1950s. Centuries of women couldn't run away from it fast enough, but evidently there are some people that don't like independence, so I understand. But I don't know why. I think it's a you thing. Unless you're getting feedback chronically from individuals that says, I don't want to be with you because honestly, I need to be taken to Paris and you can't do that. I think you have assumed that though you intellectually know that your worth is not equal to your financial standing, you are equating it somehow that it is. And I think that's the pollution of constant input from the outside. So I'd ask you again, where are you proud of yourself in what you have accomplished? Yeah, this is a little more detailed. Mhm. Normally, I can answer these pretty quickly, but this is a little more detailed. Self-esteem and lack of financial standing. Another thing you could do, I don't know where the financial standing is coming from. I'm not sure if it's a job that you currently have or if you're self-employed, which is a whole nother story. You may want to get a business coach or just look and listen to different business coaches and people in your profession to assist you on ways to, I don't know, cut corners with expenses or jumpstart where you are now and get to another platform. This could be specific to your industry. Okay. Alex, thank you so much. But I sometimes, such as at this moment in time, can't even afford to get food at the Jesus, okay, that's something else. I create art. Yeah, I figured you were an artist, which is great. What I love, hang on, but I still struggle with significant self-esteem issues. Well, unfortunately, half the artists in the world died poor until we discovered them, 20 years later, and then now people have a fortune hung in their apartments. I think there must be social programs that support the arts depending upon what state you live in. I think you're in New York, but I'm not sure. Um, Jeez, God. This is like a business thing. So there are so many things you could drive as an Uber driver. You could get a part-time gig. If you're good at, doing coding, you could do that. You could get a little, most artists have a side income for their passion. Everybody I know that is truly an artist has had to have a quote unquote real job that pays the bills. until they have built themselves up as an artist enough so that they can leave that. And I hear a lot of stuff. There are a lot of podcasts about this. They're free. I would start to listen to those resources, how people transitioned, how people got a viable profession that gave them their bread and butter so that they could afford to do their art. And then the second phase is as your art escalates, how to get it out in front of the public. There, I would start looking through podcasts and videos for free. Okay. Hi, Susan. You look extra good today. So happy to see you all. Thank you. Thank you. Jyoti, Temp, Ori, Orari, you are welcome. Okay, Midlife Goddess. Yes, I left a book review. Thank you so much. Okay, many, many men need lessons in sex. Good men. But who wants to teach anyone over 25 about sex? Seriously, thank you. Christine L. Susan, you have the best analogies, always delivered with a wonderful sense of humor. Thank you. Alex, this is a me thing, not involving other people. It's a chronic challenge for any true artist. Look at, I have affiliate people, 2 affiliates, very nice products. I like them back and forth in emails. One product, they wanted me to like endorse them after they'd send me 5 little drinks that I could have to see if I liked this product. And I did. I bought a month's supply on my own dime. I said, I can't tell if I like it in 5 days. I need to use it for a month. I think I like it. But then I came back today and I looked at, I'm like, what am I doing? Back and forth emails. This is for a link for what am I going to make? $1? And I'm hawking something that I don't work this way. So I know in my business, I have to be very specific about the jobs that I take on and the jobs I don't take on. They have to be aligned with me. And I'm not sure I was going someplace with this, but even so, there are ways to make money that I just choose not to do because it's going to erode everything else for which people trust me. Like if I start hawking a bunch of products, so let's say you have 500,000 followers on TikTok. People are going to send you stuff left, right, and center. And if you don't care, if you're just about getting numbers, you're going to be selling one product after the next. But I'm not a marketer. So my income comes from trying to give good information, have good consultations, get hired for good jobs, and have good sponsorship with products I believe in. And I take a hit. I take a hit for that. I take a hit for doing videos on topics I want to talk about rather than how to make him love me while I sleep. Yeah, number one question on YouTube. Ilian, I am communicating with someone who doesn't ask me back when I ask new questions. Which role is to get to know each other better? I asked the reason, and he said he doesn't feel like asking. Wow, that's pretty dismissive. They better be pretty hot for being so, dismissive, but they're certainly not worth it. I'm not liking that. Yes, you are in New York. Okay, Alex. Just state your financial and physical and it's equal. Then you're all rich. That's cute. Okay, many artists like myself do something else for money. Yeah. So listen, Midlife Goddess is helping you out here, Alex. It keeps the art pure and you have the confidence of taking care of yourself. Get a job, like she says. I think this is a great idea. Okay, Richard. Oh, now we're talking about sex. I'm not going to talk about the sexual act. Not my business. I am going to have a conversation on communicating sexual preferences. And I am very certain that I will disagree with my colleague at many points in this thing, and I've asked him if that's okay. Okay. Kimberly's inspiration. Hi, Susan. Thank you so much for all your help and loving advice and guidance. Sending love. Thank you, Kimberly. Okay, Golden Hawk. Hey, haven't seen you here for a while. Weird. I just sent a super chat and nothing's showing up. This, I don't know why that's happening. It happens sometimes, and I'm not sure why. Um, let's see. Wait, Golden Hawk. I'm going to look for this. Golden Hawk. Did you limit the characters? Okay, so how I couldn't even do this without Yes, it was like for $10. Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. Golden Hawk, just write it out in cap letters so I can find it. I am so sorry. And by the way, they won't charge you if they didn't come through. This is my understanding. Um, Self-esteem. Next week is my birthday, and I'm looking to go to Paris and book myself a hotel in the center. I love that. I do solo travel. Those of you who are going to be in Milan and Venice this summer, I will be in Milan August 1st through 6th, Venice the 7th through the 9th. It's a little quickie, the morning of the 10th, but very quickly. So I will be having that in the newsletter. If you haven't already subscribed to my newsletter, it's at susanwinter.net homepage, sign in. I don't sell your data, don't know how to do it. You can unsubscribe at any time. It's at the bottom of the page. I send out newsletters now twice a month, and I have contests and discounts each time around. Last time I read Ricci's question. The next one we'll have is for Lauren's writing it up right now. I think it's unconventional relationships, and the winner will receive a copy of Allowing Magnificence that has been signed by me. So we have a lot of stuff, so take a look at that. I feel most people have charisma, being liked and appreciated, though they really have a low self-esteem. Wait, let me read this again, Mohammed. I want to make sure. I meet people who have charisma, being liked and appreciated, though they really have a low self-esteem. That could be really skilled posturing. When somebody has practiced the art of looking impressive and having great conversational skills because they are in desperate need of confirmation from the external. So a coping mechanism, which isn't bad to learn, because at the end of the day, you've got great presence, is to be extremely charismatic. Narcissists and manipulators are extremely charismatic because they have to charm you. When they charm you and they see that you're enjoying it, they get a hit because now they're effective in doing what they wanted to do, which was to gain your admiration and your attention. So they could indeed not have charm. Okay, I mean, not have like real self-esteem. What is this? Oh, Golden Hawk. Here we are. One of the first questions asked when chatting online is, what do you do? It's like our entire identity is judged based on our occupation and finances as opposed to our character. Very American thing, right? To my Europeans, thanks, Golden Hawk, for getting that through. It is, I have been told by my European friends, this is exceedingly gauche and it should never be done, and that it is classless, that we are never supposed to ask that. As my Austrian buddy, Maximilian, used to say to me, he said, Susan, I walk into any fancy bar in New York City, you know, one of those power bars, and where it's the restaurant, it's like the top people in New York. He said, the first thing a woman does is look at my watch, look at my shoes, and then ask me what I do. She's figuring out whether it's worth her time to speak to him. Now, if I were a guy and I had that, I would be so turned off. Same thing as a hot woman and a guy who doesn't care to listen to her. What it means is they want the acquisition of, they want to acquire your resources, not you. You could be anyone. Just like what I said about the marketers, these affiliate people. I could be anyone. Anybody with high follower count. There's nothing special about me. Same thing as like guys chatting you up for, hey, you know, and if you say no, they're like, next. It was never about you. And the thing is, this is a very interesting question, but I think it's very normal in America. And I believe you're American, so we shouldn't be offended by this. But we live in the Western world, you know, this is what, it's a great conversation starter. What you do, now I'm going to ask you, see, you're chatting online, so you can't really get a vibe of the person. When somebody asks you what you do online, it could just be a conversation opener, like maybe I know something about this. And they just, I think they want to talk. Unless they are trying to set you up to be a sugar mama, sugar daddy, that might not be the case. When somebody asks you in person what you do, I would take it obviously to be that they just want to have a point of entry of conversation. The way you'll know is what happens next. If you say, like, I'm a hairstylist, and they go, oh, I got to get a drink, like kind of like, I'm not interested in you. So it's not this question, it's what happens afterwards, right? And if they dismiss you because of that, they've just been dismissed from your consideration. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's an easy answer, I hope. Let's see. Okay. Let me see now. And Gwyneth, thank you for that. I noticed they also do that a lot in Germany at social occasions. Wow. Galactic Woman says, I usually answer, I breathe air and I eat food. That's great. Golden Hawk, you are welcome. Richard, I knew it was you before I even clicked on it. $20. Thank you, generous, wonderful Richard. I have the normal temporary spells of self-esteem issues. We all do. We all do. Even people with confidence and high self-esteem have days of like picking ourselves apart. This is normal. But I've been meeting more and more interesting ladies who have serious self-esteem issues. How much should I try to? Did you really write help them? Richard, I'm going to come and find you and sit down and shake you. Did you really just write that? God. Richard, you're not here to help them out of their misery of the work they have not done, my dear. You are here looking for a woman who is a bookend. We all have moments of low self esteem. Your job is not to fix a broken woman, not your job. As my friend used to say, if you don't own it, you don't fix it. Okay? How much should I try to help them before giving up and moving on? When you see that they have unresolved issues for which they have refused to take responsibility through obvious acknowledgement or unconscious omission because they didn't know enough, which is almost scarier because they're that far from realizing who they are. Okay. That's prone to delusion. They're that far from realizing who they are, right? One thing to ignore it, at least you know you got it. Not your job. Not your job. Good on you that you've been interested in meeting more and more interesting ladies. Now find one who has a handle on herself, who does her own work. Okay? Not your job, my dear. This is why you're a great catch. I got to tell you a story. All right. I have a dear friend. Love this man. Been a buddy for 20 years. He is responsible, attentive, accountable, a hard worker, like a dog with a bone. He's done a lot of work for me over the years. And if I call him, I'll get a text message in 20 minutes apologizing that he couldn't get back sooner when he's on the job. Okay. The most responsible, functional man I know has chronically, throughout the years, decades I've known him, attracted the most dysfunctional, unaware, incapable, indolent, confused, lost, purposeless women, just like floundering. So much so that the anxiety level and stress level for him, because now he doesn't have a partner, he's got a job. He's got a job that he does and a job at home for all this stuff they don't want to learn and they can't do, and it's too much. He's a daddy. You become a daddy. That the person always runs to you, or a mommy, they run to you to fix their lives. And the more you fix their lives, guess what? Nothing gets done. You know why? Because they don't learn to do it themselves. Case in point, you ever been a passenger in a car in a place that you're not driving? You don't pay attention, right? Foreign city, you're not paying attention. City, you're not going to drive. Your colleague is driving the car and you're not paying attention because you don't have to do it, right? I don't pay attention. I don't have to drive there again. I'm being driven. You have to drive, you got to know where you're going. So this lack of responsibility is not yours to pick up as the person looking for partnership. I have been saddled with people like this my whole life till I got this. Okay. It will exhaust you. You will not want to date. You will get so fussy about what you take on, which I don't think it's bad to be fussy. Do you want to live with anxiety and just have something and constantly be stressed? That's enough to live your own life, let alone this has nothing to do with being supportive of your partner as they go through things. This has to do with initial meetings of doing what I call an upfront compromise. You're not even in the relationship and you're already compromising what you want because you have to outpay in energy and time, everything to get them up to speed to even be a possibility. Too much work. When you close the doors to all of this, you are going to find the most amazing people start coming into your life. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But they're not going to come in if you are leaking the uh, ability to take care of others. If that energy is leaking out, managing others, you got to shut the door completely to that concept. Okay. Marisa, hi Susan, I'm from Italy. These days your videos are my salvation. Oh, this is beautiful. I was dumped on the 5th of December and I'm struggling to move on and stick to no contact. I'm sure that I can do it with your advice. Oh, sweetie, listen, download immediately Breakup Triage. It's free on Audible, a couple dollars on Amazon. It'll help you walk through it and it'll give you support. Plus, you'll hear my voice. It's the audiobook. Just keep listening to it, doing the work, because one, they dumped you, I think, because you're having trouble with no contact. Um, and consider a consultation. And I will be in Milan and Venice. So if you're around there, I know that's this summer. It's a little further away, but I read my Bible to draw self-worth from the Creator. Okay. Okay. Do you live in New York? I do. And Arizona. Good point. Not driving, not watching how to drive. They're negotiating from the start. Okay. So, again, self-confidence is not an outer acquisition. I mean, if we earned it, yes. Years ago, and I think I've shared this reference with you in the past, I think it was the early 2000s, Jamie Johnson, the heir to Johnson & Johnson company, did a video about his friends, about the unhappy, extremely wealthy. It was so beautifully done. It was a documentary. I was blown away. You have to know these people and have lived in their, you have to have had this experience to know what I'm talking about. It is the saddest group of people because they've got everything, but they haven't found themselves. There's nothing, there's no thorn to prick their side to move forward. There's no need to make money because it's already there. So there's no urgency to find oneself. So life is spent in just a series of adventures and mostly getting into trouble, horrible neurotic breakdowns and anxiety and oh golly. And the sad thing is that this isn't supported because people on the outside who don't have money look at these people and think, oh, you don't have any problems, you're rich. The rich have problems. They just have different problems. The problem of the poor is believing that if they have money, everything will be better. So the poor have hope. The rich don't have hope because they got it and they know nothing got better. So the beautiful thing about money is it brings us options. Instead of doing this, we might have the ability to do this. It brings us options. It brings more responsibility. It brings us options. Okay. So making money, having wonderful things is fabulous. We want to do that. But we want to more than anything be in alignment with ourselves as we do these things so that we can always be proud of who we are and who we become in the world. Mike, $9.99. Okay, hang on. I've got to blow my nose. We got allergy season here, which is weird. It's not in the spring, it's kind of in the winter. How do I get my self-esteem back when my transactional relationship drained it completely? Mike, we've had a lot of conversations about this, my man. Oh my goodness. Blank went and visited him in Vietnam, and I allowed him to use me for my money, but I got nothing back in return. Mike, I would I would really like to work with you. And I don't want to be one more person who takes your money. And it may not seem worth it to you because you're not going to get anything out of it other than excellent advice and getting repositioned. But this is continual. And I would like to take the time personally to deconstruct the belief system that you have that is beautiful, but you believe that if I give you this, you will appreciate it. And what's happening is they are not appreciating it. They are taking it and disrespecting you. And oftentimes in transactional relationships, that is the power imbalance that I talk about. Because when somebody has you targeted only for your resources or opportunities or whatever you're going to bring them, they're not looking at you as a human being. They're looking at you as another position on the chessboard. And the entire mentality is that people in general are expendable. They're just something you do to get from point A to point B. So the mechanism that connects the heart and soul is not intact. And in a transactional relationship, if you're going to have one, there has to be an agreement. Could even be legal, could even be signed agreement. I will do this, but I expect this. So if you are choosing to be in a transactional relationship, you need to be extremely straight up about what you're going to offer for what you're going to get. And you need to let there be consequences. You have let this go on and there are no consequences. Okay. So if we all need, the entire world needs to have consequences. If somebody acts out of line, there have to be consequences or they will continue and continue and continue to do it. The consequence could be withdrawing yourself completely. They don't get access to you. You don't treat me right, I'm not playing with you. You treat me right. If I'm getting what I want, you'll get what you want. But that's the way it works. So you're not on an even scale here. You're throwing out, hoping somebody gives you back. And you're living under the assumption that because I gave you, you will, but you haven't clarified it. Okay. I don't suggest that these types of relationships are meaningful. There are better ways to do it, but I don't want to discuss it here online. Okay. I know people in the industry, so I can speak to you more specifically. Okay. Um, Born super wealthy, friends, all nearly dead. Wow. Self-made people are so much more happy. There's an innate discontent with knowing you didn't deserve it. And it's hard to push that next to, but I deserve simply because I'm a human being. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be loved. We are very much goal-oriented. Perhaps if we were having this conversation 500 years ago, it might have been different. Maybe not. There is too much time to do nothing other than think about yourself. And what I liked about this Tony Robbins quote is, I know when I was fighting so many people and being torn apart for my romantic choice, everywhere, not just in my community, in the press, everything, just whatever I did was made something bad. I did something good, they made it bad. There was no way I could win. Okay. And I know that it was when I started including the work to reach out to other people in my situation that I became fearless because I was racing through the infantry and I didn't care. I was going to cross that finish line because now it wasn't about me. In the beginning, it hurt a lot because it was about me. And then I got the broader picture. It's not about me. I've been called to speak to something. Who ever thought? I mean, really, honestly, folks, you think I asked for this? You think I went looking for this call? But things happen. You do the best with what you're given, right? And there could be other challenges, other callings that I get. But this is the one right now, and it brought me to all of you, and we're all working together on this. Okay. So let's see. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Red-headed Riding Hood. That's cute. Hi, Susan. You are right. The rich have problems like their houses burning in LA. I feel it's so cold-hearted saying, oh, they'll just jump into their private jets and leave cold-hearted. You know, every human being has challenges. And we look and isolate one thing they have, and we don't want to take the rest of it. And I hear great commentary about this. This is some of the greatest commentary about Elon Musk. So many people would like to be the richest man in the world. This guy sleeps maybe 2 hours a night. His head is going 1,000 miles a minute. He can barely focus, but he does so much. I mean, it's got to be agony being in his head, having the wheels turn that fast. And he talks about it, you know. So we want one thing they have, but the price of that one thing is everything else that's happening in their lives. So unless you're willing to take everything, don't envy the one. Okay. Susan, you are right. The rich have problems. Okay, I read this. You paved the way for so many. Thank you for running with that torch. Not like you courted the situation. It shows you. Damn right. Oh my God, please. I would have rather found the cure to cancer or something, you know, but you had the courage and were contrarian enough to do it. It just wasn't right. I was not about to give up the man I loved because people didn't approve of him or me. I wasn't. That's not right. You don't do that, I think. I also want to share with you that I've taken consistent effort of no contact with the man at the gym, Xavier. Yes, I remember this. We worked on this. We had a consultation who I was highly interested in, but not available to be friends with. Good, good, good. Okay. Hi, Susan. I attract men who connect with me at first, but as we get to know each other, they turn jealous, competitive, and they start to put me down. How do I attract a secure men? Look for the ones who don't. Sorry, that's kind of a quick Dalai Lama answer. Dalai Lama, this lady who went on and on and on in India about, oh, I can't, oh, he left me and I don't know what to do. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is a monk, lady. He's not a marriage counselor. And he says, well, I don't know. Maybe you'll find better one. Ha, ha, ha. So, oh, let's see. I'm going to guess if they become jealous, you're very good looking, competitive, you're very successful in your business, and start to put me down, they are insecure. This will happen. I'm going to ask you to go back and look at who you've responded to. You say you attract men who connect with you at first. Okay. Then I want you to look and do an analysis of the last few people that have done this, their career, what they've said online, who they are, how they present themselves, if you've gotten to a first date, and all that stuff. And I want you to start to take a look at a pattern and isolate what the commonalities are. And then you do your research to go, oh, I see this, and this pattern. I'm going to filter for that next time because this so far from my data set has been the outcome. So I'd like you to go back and take a serious look at them, not yourself so much. Take a look at where did you meet them? What app were you on? Where did you meet them socially if they picked you up in person? Start to look at, who they were, what they did, the clothes they wore, how they approached you, what they said. Look at all of that. Did they ask you about yourself? Were they not interested? It's because they're trying to impress you by putting you down to try to make you feel inferior so they can feel superior, which means they're already inferior. So good on you that you noticed that. Alex, sending you all my appreciation for our consultation. I highly recommend a consultation for anyone who's going through a difficult time, heartbreak or not. Save yourself the time and energy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shilly says, you are right, Susan. No one looks at the whole picture of the so-called successful person. They only see the price they are paying. Okay, now, any more questions? We are coming to the end of the hour. I appreciate all of you. It's not a rejection, it's a rescue. I love this. God, I love this. All right. Podcast. You know, I have the Susan Winters Show. It streams on all outlets. The newsletter, there's always a contest or something special going on. So sign up for that. Jonathan's interview is coming up. I've told you about Allowing Magnificence. Don't forget that my website has a lot of resources. It has articles. It has a lot of interviews. I'm doing a lot of interviews right now. I'm very proud of some that are coming up around Valentine's Day. And of course, the consultations. So is there anything else today? I really thank all of you. I screwed up a relationship with someone worthy because of my low self-esteem. It's affecting my mental health so much. I don't know how to cope with that, Susan. Bubba, I suggest that I don't know what you did. I don't know how you presented your self-esteem, or if you think it's your self-esteem, or if you were timid. Without more information, I can't adequately help you, but you can do the analysis yourself. Don't be afraid, all of you, to do some analysis of here's what I did, here's how I approached the person, here's how I shot myself in the foot. Okay, I will amend that in the future. Sometimes we can do our own research and see just by laying it out to be self-corrected. Okay, so last one for the day. Marissa says, could you suggest a few practical steps to build self-esteem, please? Yes, of course. Okay, and that's the last one. I want to do this, Kimberly. Let's wait till next time. Just copy and paste for next time because I've got to go out. I've got Jonathan coming on pretty soon. Steps for low self-esteem. Review everything that you've done in your life that was hard that you actually got through. Don't have to get through in flying colors, just have to make it through. Start to look at every choice you made where you stood up for yourself. Maybe you didn't get the outcome you wanted, but you're proud of who you were in that moment. Look at every challenging conversation that you had that was really hard for you to have, but you needed to have that conversation. Look at everyone you cut out of your life because you knew in your heart of hearts they were not there for you. They were there for themselves. And even though it might make you lonely and sad and make you feel like you have fewer friends, that you voted for yourself. Take a look at these things. Take a look at the people that you now have in your life. Take a look even at family members and friends and say, who is here for me? Who's here for me? Mike, you do this too. Because if you do this with the guy, you do it all the way around. Who do I know is here for me? Me, really me. Who do I have in my corner? Because I promise you, that number is pretty small. The real people. That's where you invest your time and energy, the people who see who you are and know who you are, because that support system, in the times that you start to falter, it keeps you grounded, right, in who you are and your worth. So those things are important for your accomplishments. Anything you did, a sport, a hobby, a musical instrument, the work that you do, the hours that you put into your garden. The reason physical labor is so gratifying, I used to scythe the fields for our horses by hand. I'd come back with bloody blisters. These scythes, they look like something from the 1800s, literally, like, or from the Bruegel paintings where you see the guys out in the field. It went from all sorts of ratty weeds to cut down. And I could see the progress. As an artist, you can't always see your traction. I can put out fabulous stuff and maybe YouTube decides to press down the ability for you to see me. I don't know. We just keep doing it, right? What are we proud of? What inside ourselves, in our character, the quality of our interactions, in our ethics, and in our being, are we proud of that we're going to stay with and double down on and believe in? Those are the things that count. Okay. So I hope that helps you. And I know, okay, so Kimberly, I feel so rotten not answering you, but I can't do any more after that. Oh, count your little daily wins. Love this. friend pursued me over and over. I finally agreed to date and we ended things yesterday. We both feel relieved and I feel sad too. I developed an attachment. Kimberly, sometimes things just don't work out. Good that you started as friends. You tried. Sometimes you have people that they're attractive. I have this with a lot of guys in my life. They're very attractive. They're very accomplished. Sometimes you try and make it go there, and it's just like, ugh, it's not there. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody, I am going to go because I'm going to talk about sexual communication with Jonathan. Yeah, you're going to see that one in a couple weeks, maybe less, depending. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful week. I will see you here next week. Gwyneth B., thank you so much for almost 5 years. We've been together. All of you who contributed to Super Chat, thank you very much. Self-esteem is earned. It is also the challenges that we go through and that we overcome and celebrate within ourselves. And those are the touchstone to our true life calling and our purpose. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye now.